Planet Xylos was a harsh place. 2 suns blazed down, turning the land into a never-ending desert. The wind howled like a sad, lonely creature. Nothing could survive here, not for very long, except maybe for her. A young girl, just a child, lay half-buried in the sand. Her skin, a pale purple color, was badly sunburned. Strange feather-like antennae drooped against her cheek. She was all alone, or so she thought. A shadow moved over her face, briefly blocking the burning light. She stirred, a tiny groan escaping her dry lips. Her eyes, big and bright, fluttered open. They widened, reflecting the strange sight above her. It was a robot, old and covered in dust. The desert winds had long since stripped away any semblance of its former glory, leaving it a relic of a bygone era. The sands had become its shroud, a testament to the passage of time and the harshness of the environment. Its metal body was dented and scratched, each mark telling a story of survival and resilience. The once smooth and polished surface was now a canvas of scars, a record of countless battles with the elements. Its once shiny paint faded to a dull grey, a shadow of its former self. The vibrant colours that once adorned its frame had long since been bleached by the relentless sun, leaving behind a monochrome reminder of what it used to be. Only its single eye, glowing with a strange blue light, showed that it was still alive. This eye, a beacon in the desolation, hinted at the life that still flickered within its mechanical heart. It was a spark of hope in an otherwise lifeless shell. It stood tall above her, like a metal giant in this empty land. The robot's towering presence was both awe-inspiring and intimidating. A silent guardian in a world that had forgotten it. Its shadow stretched long across the sands, a reminder of its enduring strength. Fear, sudden and sharp, shot through her. The sight of the towering figure sent a jolt of terror through her veins, her heart pounding in her chest. She had never seen anything like it, and the unknown was terrifying. She tried to scramble back, to bury herself deeper in the sand. Her instinct screamed at her to flee, to find safety, but the desert offered no refuge. The sands shifted beneath her, making every movement a struggle. But her body wouldn't obey, too weak, too close to giving up. Exhaustion weighed her down, her limbs heavy and unresponsive. The relentless heat and lack of sustenance had drained her of strength, leaving her at the mercy of the elements. The robot reached out a hand, its movements slow and careful. Each motion was deliberate, as if it understood the fragility of the situation. The gesture was almost human, a sign of empathy from a machine. In its grip, held in a nest of wires and metal, was a flask. The flask, though simple in design, was a lifeline in this barren wasteland. It was a symbol of hope, a promise of survival. Water sloshed gently inside, a tempting promise. The sight of the liquid was almost mesmerizing, a precious resource in a land where water was more valuable than gold. It was a beacon of life in the midst of desolation. Hope, like a delicate butterfly, fluttered in her chest. The sight of the water and the robot's unexpected kindness ignited a spark within her. It was a fragile hope, but in this harsh world, even the smallest glimmer was enough to keep her going. She drank quickly, her parched lips eagerly meeting the cool, refreshing liquid. The water was a lifeline in this barren wasteland, a momentary escape from the relentless heat that had been her constant companion. The cool water soothing her dry throat, bringing a sense of relief that was almost euphoric. Each gulp was a reminder of her humanity, a stark contrast to the mechanical world around her. With each sip, strength flowed back into her body. Her muscles, once tight with exhaustion, began to relax. Her mind, clouded by fatigue, started to clear, allowing her to think more rationally about her next steps. The robot watched patiently, its blue eye never leaving her face. It was as if it understood her struggle, its gaze filled with an unspoken empathy that transcended its mechanical nature. There was something in that gaze, something more than just the cold thinking of a machine. It was almost as if the robot had a soul, a spark of life that defied its metal exterior. It helped her to her feet, its metal hands surprisingly gentle. The touch was firm yet kind, a paradox of strength and tenderness that gave her the courage to stand once more. She swayed, dizzy from the heat and her ordeal. The world around her seemed to spin, the horizon blurring into a mirage of colours and shapes. The robot steadied her, its movements a symphony of whirring gears and hissing air. Each motion was precise, calculated, yet there was an elegance to it, a fluidity that belied its mechanical origins. Despite its large size, it moved with a strange grace. The sand shifted beneath its feet, but it never faltered, each step a testament to its engineering marvel. They began to walk, the robot leading the way through the shifting dunes. The landscape was harsh and unforgiving, but with the robot by her side, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. The suns beat down, but the girl no longer felt alone. The companionship of the robot was a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the most desolate places one could find solace. The robot, her unlikely rescuer, walked beside her, a beacon of hope in this desolate world. Together, they journeyed through the endless expanse, each step a testament to their resilience and the unbreakable bond that had formed between them. Talking was difficult at first. She spoke no words he understood, her language a series of clicks and whistles. He responded in the binary code of his programming, a language of beeps and whirs. Yet somehow they understood each other. Need, it seemed, was a universal language. He brought her food, strange desert plants that he somehow knew were safe to eat. He found shelter in the shadow of a giant fallen statue, a relic of a long-dead civilization. He protected her from the harshness of Xylos, his metallic body a shield against the elements. As days turned into weeks, a bond formed between them, as strong and unbreakable as the steel that made up his frame. She learned his name, or at least the closest sound she could manage in her language. She called him Rex. He, in turn, learned about her people, the Alari, a race known for their wisdom and their connection to the stars. He learned of the disaster that had crippled her ship, leaving her stranded on this desolate world. Their differences, once so vast, seemed to melt away. He, a machine, discovered a capacity for tenderness he never knew he possessed. She, an alien far from home, found comfort in the steady rhythm of his gears, the gentle hum of his processors. One evening, as they huddled together against the biting desert wind, the air was thick with the weight of their unspoken fears and the relentless struggle for survival. The desert, with its vast, unforgiving expanse, seemed to stretch endlessly, a constant reminder of their precarious existence. She showed him a small, smooth stone, its surface worn by time and elements, yet it held a mysterious allure. It pulsed with a faint, internal light, a beacon of hope in the midst of desolation. The light seemed to dance, casting ethereal shadows on their weary faces. A seed, she explained, her voice filled with awe and reverence. This was no ordinary seed. It was a symbol of their resilience and determination, a seed that carried the hope of her people, a fragile bloom in the harshest of environments. It was a testament to their enduring spirit and their unwavering belief in a better future. The Alari, she explained, could merge their life force with these seeds, creating a bond that transcended the physical realm. This connection ensured the continuation of their line, even in the face of insurmountable odds, ensuring the continuation of their line even in the harshest of environments. It was a delicate balance, a dance between life and death, hope and despair. It was a desperate gamble, a last resort. The stakes were unimaginably high, and failure was not an option. Their very existence hinged on this fragile hope. But on a planet as unforgiving as Xylos, it was their only chance. The harsh landscape offered no mercy, and every day was a battle for survival. Rex, his blue eye flickering with understanding, took the seed in his metal hand. The weight of the responsibility settled upon him, a burden he was willing to bear. He knew what she was asking. It was more than a request. It was a plea for survival, a call to action that resonated deeply within him. It was a request that defied logic, that challenged the very core of his programming. Yet, in that moment, logic seemed irrelevant. What mattered was the spark of hope that the seed represented. And yet he did not hesitate. With a resolve that surprised even himself, Rex made the decision to protect and nurture the seed, to become a guardian of hope in a world that had forgotten its meaning. He fused the seed with his own power core, the heart of his being. It was a long and arduous process, fraught with risk, but Rex, driven by a love he could barely comprehend, persevered. And then a miracle. The seed, once inert, sprouted. A tiny shoot emerged, reaching towards the light of the twin suns. It grew at an astonishing rate, nurtured by Rex's energy, his unwavering devotion. Within days it had transformed into a crib, woven from vines as strong as steel, as delicate as lace. And within that crib, nestled amongst the glowing leaves, lay a baby that was both theirs and neither, a testament to the enduring power of hope, of love that transcended all boundaries. The child grew strong, a curious blend of alien grace and robotic resilience. She had her mother's lavender skin, her feathery antennae, but her eyes, they shone with the same eerie blue light as her father. They named her Elara, starlight in the ancient Alari tongue. She was a symbol of hope, a testament to the fact that even in the most desolate of places, life in all its wondrous forms could flourish. The future was uncertain. The galaxy was a vast and unforgiving place. But as Rex watched Elara take her first stumbling steps across the sand, a new directive forming in his ancient circuits, he knew one thing for sure. He would protect her. He would teach her everything he knew about survival, about love, about the boundless possibilities of the universe. He would make sure that she, unlike her parents, would never have to face the darkness alone. Their story, etched in the sand, would become her legacy. A legacy of hope, a legacy of love, a legacy that began against all odds in the heart of a desolate, sun-scorched desert.